Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Bima Satria N.P, and I'm from Factual and Discursive Reading Class G. And this is my second book report, and the title is Frankenstein. The author is Mary Shelley. It's a fiction book, and it has 304 pages. And the type of the book is a novel. The setting of the story is in 19th century. Why do I choose this book? The reason why I choose this book is quite simple. After I watched the movie with the same name, the title as the novel, Victor Frankenstein, which released in 2015, I started to get curious about the full story, and I decided to buy the novel. As we know, Victor Frankenstein is a scientist, and he creates a monster, so I want to know the clear and real reason why does he do that crazy thing. From this book, we can also learn or think how science and religion can become one, although that thing is impossible to do until now. But just watching the movie is not enough for me to understand the background of the story, the background of the characters, and all the small details of the story. The other reason I choose this book is this book is a classic British story. So of course there are many British slangs that come out on that in the dialogue and some words that I never expected before. I have to admit this book is really great and I love it. Characters and plot or ideas or explanation. The story of the book began with Captain Robert Wilson, who was writing a letter for his sister, Margaret. Walton told his sister about his expedition in search of the new discoveries in the Arctic, something he had longed for. He chartered a ship and its relative crew. Further north, the Walton ship was stuck in the middle of the frozen ocean. It was then that he saw something absurd in the distance, a big man on a slide pulled by several dogs. The next morning, he again encountered a strange thing. He found a person floating on a lump of ice that had drifted into his ship. This person was far different from the monster he had seen the day before. Walton then helped this man and took care of him on the ship. This man named Victor Frankenstein, and through his narration, Frankenstein told the reason why he traveled to the Arctic. Victor Frankenstein was born into a happy and very well-off family in Geneva, Switzerland. He grew up with a love for science and a bit obsessed with the ancient science of how humans could create life. When he grew up, Frankenstein studied in London. There, his curiosity about the ancient knowledge was satisfied to the point that he felt that simply reading would not be enough. He had to do an experiment, so the crazy activity began. Victor Frankenstein collected organs from corpses and patched into the creatures which he thought were quite human-like. In the end, he managed to bring creatures alive, with no details on how. When the creatures finally rose, he was gripped by his own fear and ran away from the creator in his residence. When he returned, the creator had disappeared from its place. Frankenstein then calmed himself down by pretending that the incident never happened. But in the end, he fell ill for a long time. At the time, his childhood friend Henry came and accompanied him to his recovery. After recovering from illness, Frankenstein received a sad news that his younger brother had died of murder. He and Henry then returned to Geneva. Frankenstein harbored suspicion within him. The suspicion grew when he saw the black strangulation wound on his brother's neck and was rounded up when one day he saw the monster, the creature that he created had killed his brother. Haunted by guilt, Victor Frankenstein became moody and aloof. When he was on a hilltop, the monster came to him. Frankenstein's first reaction was hysterical and tried to attack the monster. Realizing that the monster had strength and speed beyond ordinary humans, he stopped fighting. It turned out that the monster demands something from its creator. The justice it demands was for Frankenstein to create another being to be its friend. If Frankenstein is willing, then the monster will not appear in front of humans again. Otherwise, it will kill the Frankenstein family one by one. Frankenstein then granted its request. During a process of creating a new monster, Frankenstein then realized that by creating just one monster was already causing many problems. It would cause even bigger problems if he created another. The monster felt angry about that. Then it promised to itself that the monster would destroy Frankenstein's life. A few days later, Frankenstein married a woman named Elizabeth. The night after his marriage, the monster attacked Frankenstein's wife and killed her. After that moment, the monster ran away and Frankenstein looked for it until he met the monster. When he arrived in the Arctic and saved by Walton, Frankenstein got sick and died later. When he died, the monster finally found him and just saw Frankenstein's body without doing anything. The monster realized that he met many problems, so he told Watson that it would do suicide by burning itself. Okay, next is my general opinion. This book is really great and well worth reading. This book taught us to handle and manage what we want because if we do not control it, our wishes will be the worst thing we experience. The contents of this book are also packaged very well. The narration delivered very neat, making it easier for the readers to understand the story. The character development carried out by the author is also very well done. In addition, the depth of the character's feeling is also described well, so that the reader can also feel the emotions described by the characters and we are brought into the atmosphere of the story. This book has 304 pages and I think it's a thick enough to read. Nothing problem with that, but we have to be a little bit patient when reading it and find the essence of the story and the peak of the problem. But overall, this book is amazing and become a very legendary story. What did I like best about the book? Well, I like this book because it has taught the readers, including me, to do not do things too much according to our wishes that can cause excessive regret. For example, like what did by Victor Frankenstein, who was very obsessed with creating living things and as he was doing, playing God, for trying to revive something that died. In the moment after creating his monster, he couldn't control it that made the monster look scary, attack other people, and the worst is ruin Frankenstein's life. With all that accident, he felt regret for the rest of his life until the end uh, of his life. On the other side, we can also notice that Captain Robert Watson's life, he was willing to leave his family, normal life, and being away from his home, and feel lonely on his ship in the middle of the ocean just to fulfill his wish, which was to discover a new continent. By reading this book, we know that we may have high desires, but we also have to think about other aspects. What did I like least? This Mary Shelley's book is great, amazing, and masterpiece because very neat storytelling and narrative delivery. But something must be lacking. This book also has flaws and some irregularities that are not explained clearly in the story, so that it is difficult for us to understand. For example, when Victor Frankenstein created the monster, he just collected some organs which according to him can resemble humans and the creator just alive. Other than that, The other most confusing thing is when the creator or the monster moved from one place to another place. Like when the monster moved from London, which was the place where he was created, to Victor Frankenstein's hometown in Geneva to ask for justice, or when the monster went to the Arctic after killing Frankenstein's wife. In this book, it is not explained how the monster moved clearly, whether it was flying, running, riding a vessel, or just walking. Well, we don't know that. On the other hand, there is a little problem for everyone who doesn't speak English well to read this book, because there are some classic British slangs which is difficult to understand. But from the slangs, this book is still worth reading. What is my favorite quotation? My favorite quotation is, do you understand this feeling? This breeze, which has traveled from the regions towards which I am advancing, gives me a foretaste of those icy climes. And the rating of this book for me is a good book. And the last one is, would I recommend this book to my friend and why? Would I recommend this reading to my friends? Absolutely, yes. Because we're reading this book, we just don't get entertainment from the stories that are told, but also the stories of life lessons that we can take from this book. What life lessons can we take? Like what I said earlier about our passions as human and what we always prioritize without prioritizing anything else, so that it can have a very bad impact. Interesting things we can receive from this one is there are many some old British words or slangs, and we can improve our English skills by reading this book. Other than that, the most we can take is old stories or classic literature about this book. We can add insight about the world of literature, knowing old writers such as this book writer Mary Shelley and classic stories especially from United Kingdom. It is always exciting to read a story about a classic British book. So I decided that this book is literally recommended. Not only anyone who loves to read books, but also everyone who never read a book before. So thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.